Hey everybody, welcome back to Pediatric Therapy Essentials. My name is Dr. Heather Sossaman and I'm a pediatric physical therapist. Well, a couple of weeks ago I made a video for you guys about my Dollar Tree favorites, and I'll link the video up above. But in the video I gave you some simple ideas for things to do in virtual therapy or in-person therapy with things that you could buy from the Dollar Tree. Well, after I did that video, I was talking to a friend of mine and she said, you know, it would be great if you could do a video with things that were around the house so people didn't have to actually buy anything. And I was like, yes, challenge accepted. I think I can do that. So in today's video, I'm going to use 5 common household items and give you a whole bunch of different activities that you can do with your kids. So stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, as I said, in this week's video, I'm going to take 5 common household items and show you some really simple games and activities that you can do with them for therapy or just to play with your kids. And number 1 on my list is the paper plate. Now, I think every house has some paper plates in it, so I thought this was a good item to start off with. And I love paper plates. There are so many great things you can do with them. First and foremost, you can make an instrument with them. So if you take a paper plate, you turn it right side up and pour some rice or some beans in there, top it with another plate and staple it shut, and you have yourself an instrument. Now once you have the instrument, you can do all kinds of things with it. Just like we talked about with the water bottle, you can use it to have kids follow movement commands. So shake it over your head or shake it down below. You can make rainbow movements with it to get some great range of motion in our upper extremities. You can do all kinds of crazy dance moves. And again, it just is a great way to engage your kids and help the activities be a little bit more fun. You can also use paper plates for art projects. So in a lot of my virtual sessions, we've done things like polar bear, we read the book and acted out polar bear movements, and then we made a polar bear face using a plate. And then of course we danced with it and moved it around during the session. You can also cut holes in it and make a mask out of it. And I actually saw this week, I think on Pinterest, someone had cut the middle out of the paper plate and painted it orange around the face and put a green hat on it to make a leprechaun. So once you have created these activities, they're a great way to engage with your students. So once you have your polar bear or your leprechaun, you can raise it up and down, you can move it side to side, and it's a great tool to engage, especially over the computer where it can be really tough. Number 3 is it's great for balance. So if you ask the kids to put a paper plate on their head and then walk around the house, that's a great way for them to practice balance skills. You can also use paper plates as a frisbee, so it's a great thing to play catch with if you don't have a ball around. And you can also use them to create an obstacle course. You can put them on the ground and write numbers on them, and at station 1 we do jumping jacks, at station 2 we do squats. Or you can color them and have the kids stomp on the red one, stomp on the blue one, and lead them through a course. And they're great, inexpensive thing to use so that you can throw them away after you're done. Okay, next on my list is cotton balls, and I really like cotton balls. So we use them a lot in therapy. As a PT, my favorite way is to use them to encourage kids to squat down to the ground. So I've had parents put a bunch of cotton balls on the ground like snowballs, and the kids have to bend down and pick them up. And they can do that using their fingers, they can use it with kitchen tongs, or they can even scoop them up with a spatula and either put them on the counter like a chest-height surface, or if I want to make it really hard, I might have them squat down, pick it up, and then go up on their toes to put it in something overhead. Next, we use it for balance and coordination. So you can put them on a spoon and do an egg race with something that, if it falls off the spoon, isn't going to make a huge mess. So kids can put the cotton ball on the spoon and walk back and forth, or walk through your paper plate obstacle course and not let their cotton ball fall off. Next, they're really great for finger strengthening. So when we created those polar bear masks that I told you about, I had the kids pull the cotton balls apart using their pinchers. So they pulled and pulled and pulled to make nice wispy pieces and then glued them down to their polar bear mask. You can also use masking tape or scotch tape and put a piece overhead so that a child has to reach up on their toes and the cotton ball will stick to the tape. And finally, I like to use cotton balls to play throw and catch. They're really soft and really simple and easy to throw, and it's a great way to just start working on that pattern of throwing and catching. Okay, next on my list is plastic cups, which I think most people have around their house. And I know you guys have seen me use these in other videos. We use them to make towers for stacking. So you can either stack the cups on top of each other, so that makes it a little bit easier. It doesn't require as much coordination and control, but kids can practice stacking that way. Or you can put them end to end and have them create a much more tipsy tower that takes a little bit more control. Again, you can use them for squatting. You can put a bunch of them down on the floor and have the kids stack them on the counter. You can also use plastic cups to create an obstacle course. So if you line the cups up, the kids can have to weave their walking pattern in and out of them. They can jump over them. You could create a lane maybe, and they'd have to walk in between it. And if you make it really narrow, they'd have to do a heel-toe walk. There's lots of great ways you can use them in obstacle courses. You can also work on standing balance. So if you turn the cups upside down and maybe put one of your cotton balls on top of it, a bean bag or a tennis ball, and you have the kids stand on one foot and carefully kick the ball or cotton ball off without knocking the cup over. A plastic cup is also a great thing to practice scooping with. So you can have the kids put some water in the sink and practice scooping. You could use a bin of rice or some beans, and it's a great way to practice scooping and pouring. So I also love to use them as bowling pins. This winter I bought some white cups from the Dollar Tree and drew snowman faces on them, and now we play snowman bowling at school all the time, and the kids absolutely love it. And the last thing you can do with a plastic cup is create a baseball tee. So if you turn the cup upside down on the kitchen counter and put a ball on top, a kid can practice hitting it off with either a soft bat or even a pool noodle. Next on my list is some kind of plastic container. Now it can be something that you've purchased or it can be something recycled that food came in. So this week I let myself have some gelato. So I have this great gelato container that I recycled and cleaned out. Or if you order takeout and you get soup, oftentimes it comes in these really great containers that you can use. So it doesn't have to be something that you bought. And there's lots of super fun things you can do with containers of all different sizes. So the simplest and easiest one is to make a slit in the top so that kids can practice putting coins in. And this is great for their fine motor control and finger strengthening. I also, of course, use it for squats and balance activities, right? I put the pennies on the floor, they have to bend down, pick them up, and put them in the container, or I put them on a high shelf, they have to reach up and find the penny, and then put it in the container as well. And if you fill the container with rice or beans or even water, you can make a homemade weight. Just be sure that the container you pick is small enough to easily be held in the hand so that you can do your exercises. If you have a larger container, you can put it on the floor and use it like a stool. Now, I wouldn't tell you to stand on it because it would probably break, but what I love to do is work on facilitating unilateral stance. So that's standing on one foot. And I do that by putting one foot on a stool and one foot on a floor. And it starts to teach kids how to keep their balance and shift their weight back and forth to learn how to stand on one foot. And if you have a decent sized plastic container, it can become your stool that they rest their foot on. And just like we did with the paper plates, you can put a little bit of rice or beans in that container and have it as an instrument that you can shake and use during your therapy sessions. And to improve their fine motor skills and their self-care skills, you can practice taking the top on and off the container depending on which kind you get. So my gelato container, you could practice screwing and unscrewing, and my takeout container, you could practice pulling the lid off and on. And last but not least is a piece of paper. So everybody's got to have some paper around the house, even if it's junk mail that you get out of the mailbox. So here's some simple things you can do with paper. First and foremost, you can work on those fine motor skills by tearing the paper and crumbling it up into little pieces. Another idea is that you can use a marker to have a parent draw a shape on the piece of paper. So in the winter, I had my parents draw snowflakes on the paper. You could do circles, squares, figure eights, whatever you'd like. And then have the kids either tear or cut up a second piece of paper and glue those tiny pieces of paper on the big one. Now, if you want to get some movement in there, of course, you can put the pieces on the floor and have kids squat. You can hide them around the house and have them have to find the little pieces of paper to then come glue on the big one. There's all kinds of things you can do with that activity. And if you're really desperate to play catch, you can always crumble up a piece of paper to make a ball. You can throw, catch, or kick that piece of paper and throw it out when you're done. You can also use paper to make targets for the wall. So if a child is just learning how to throw in a specific direction, you could have one piece of paper taped to the wall as the target, and the kid could practice throwing the ball at the target. If you want to make it a little more difficult, you could have 3 pieces of paper on the wall, a red circle, green circle, and blue circle. And then you could use your ball to throw at those targets. And you could call out the colors to your student. Throw it at red, blue, green, and that works a lot on visual tracking, motor control, and coordination. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed those ideas. I know there are tons of ideas out there that you guys have come up with, especially since we've gone into COVID, of great ways to use things around the house for virtual therapy or just play activities. Whatever your ideas are, I would really appreciate it if you left them as a comment to this video so that we could share them with everyone. And the more comments I have, the more it helps my YouTube channel, so I would really appreciate your help with that. If you did enjoy today's video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone else. And if you'd like any more information about what you've seen on today's video, please pop over to my website, pediatrictherapyessentials.com, and check out the blog post and the printables and all the great resources I have for you over there. If you're new around here and you'd like to see more videos like this, please subscribe to this channel and turn on that notification button. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I look forward to seeing each of you next Saturday. Bye, guys!